Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that asbik al wudu, perfect your wudu, and khallil bain al asabi', and rub your fingers in between the fingers while you're making the wudu. While making the wudu. وَبَالِغْ الْإِسْتِنْشَاقِ إِلَّا أَن تَكُونَ صَائِمًا, and make mubalagha, that is ba'lig means make the water reach in the nostrils, to the deeper part of the nostrils. Fil istinshaq. Istinshaq we have discussed in the last class, that is taking the water is this istinshaq, and bringing the water out from the nose is istinthar. We have discussed this. Illa an takuna sa'ima, except when you are fasting. Except when you are fasting. This hadith, the word that is used asbig in the beginning means isbag, means perfection, means perfecting the wudu. And we know from many hadith that once a sahabi came to Rasulullah, went to pray, and there was a portion of his leg was dry after making wudu, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him to go and make wudu again, because that particular portion was dry, and this particular thing falls under wajib, that is to dry, that is to wet the places which are allocated while making wudu. But in this hadith we are going to discuss about the mustahabbat, how to perfect the wudu. So when we talk about isbag is of two kinds, one which is wajib, another one which is mustahab. And wajib is that no place, no organ when you make wudu should be left dry, rather it has to be washed clearly. But here Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam specially mentions that wa khallil bain al asabi', which is mustahab, that is to put your finger in between the fingers of hands and toes, and khallil, takhlil means to rub over, and this is from the mustahabbat, from highly recommended acts. Sometimes it would become wajib. Why? Because if the water does not reach those places in between the fingers, that's when you have to make sure that the water has reached. So this particular thing will make your wudu perfection. We discussed about something which is enough, necessary, but this hadith emphasizes on something which perfects your wudu, And further Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that wa ba'lig fil istinshaq illa an takuna sa'ima, and take the water in your nostrils deeper. Ba'lig means bulugh, ba'lig means it reaches, mubalagha, illa an takuna sa'ima, except when you are in the state of fasting. So if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned here especially fasting, why? If you are fasting and if you had to take water into your nostrils, what happens? There are chances that the water will reach your throat, and once the water reaches the throat, what happens? Your fasting will be invalid. So you got to be very careful while fasting when you make tamadmada, when you rinse your mouth, or when you take the water in the nostrils. You got to be very careful while fasting, because it might reach the throat and it might invalidate your fasting. So you need to be very careful. But other than fasting, it is highly recommended that you reach the water in the nostril and tamadmada, and also takhlil bain al asabi, between the fingers. This is highly recommended. So this particular things, if you make, your wudu will be perfect.